Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the Davi. I'm not sure what series is this, but I think I'm going to go back to the whole art review thing. And it's been a while. It has been a while since I've posted a video on YouTube, and I do feel bad. I'm sorry. But I'm back from the dead. And today we'll be checking out the work of Byeong Hyeok Kim. Is a South Korean artist, concept artist based in South Korea. He doesn't have a lot of work in his art station, but I think he does post most of his sketches on Instagram. And I think he does more traditional, like pencil sketches, and then sometimes he'll actually color them in, I'm assuming, Photoshop. And I think that's pretty cool. And it's not normal. I don't usually usually see people do that anymore. I think for the most part we tend to do things more digitally. Even if it comes to, or even when it comes to like sketches, I don't think, like, it's so uncommon to do things like on paper and then color them in Photoshop. It's just weird now, but it's pretty cool. It shows that he is like a solid drawer or draftsman, and I think it's a good transferable skill to digital media. I'm not exactly sure how to do this art review thing. It's been a while, but hopefully, for example, this piece is not on his art station, but he does have a big focus, I guess, on chicks, which I do like. Very, very anime influenced. The proportions, it's not like Japanese anime. I mean, there is some relation there, but like with the eyes, sometimes like he does render the eyes in a very anime-ish kind of way. But the eyes are pretty small. They're not like enlarged, like typical anime types of artworks. But yeah, this one is also not in his portfolio, in his ArtStation portfolio. And I do think this guy has some background in maybe graphic design because the composition alone is pretty interesting. And even the colors are not as intense. Pretty simple. The background is usually left kind of as a plain background with some colors and shit. It's mostly about shapes. It's very, very graphical-ish or graphic designer-ish, which I do like. Because oftentimes when you see like pencil, like these types of things, the background is kind of boring and it can make it look sucky sometimes, even if the drawing is actually nice. But if you have something like this, now this is actually my favorite piece of his, the Jury. This character is named Jury, I believe. She's from a Street Fighter game. And I do love the fucking commercial of it, or the advertisement, or the preview for the game. A lot of foot shots, which I'm very, very happy with because, I do have a bit of a foot fetish. So even if I don't play the game, I just like the homage to feet. Anyway, in terms of his... Oh, he does have a Twitter, but there's hardly anything there. I will link all of the links in the description below. But going back to his art station, it's been a while since his... or not been a while. It has been... He has said that he's not a frequent poster, I think. I think he mostly posts on Instagram, maybe Twitter, not really, but mostly on Instagram. But I think his best pieces are in ArtStation, and it kind of makes sense because ArtStation is part of the portfolio site. Now I don't like every piece of his in terms of style. It's not a bad, or he doesn't really have bad artwork. I just have favorites when it comes to style. For example, this type of drawing, illustration, it's very graphical, novel-ish, very comic-ish, and it does have its appeal, but it's not my thing. It doesn't make me want to paint and draw as much. It's still cool. It's still nice to look at, but fuck, it's taking so long to load. But yeah, I mean, it looks nice, but I don't know. I feel like his painted works are more intense and more... I like the eyes though. Very, very pretty. And yeah, but it shows you that he is a solid draftsman. He likes to sketch a lot. And you can see him play a lot with the proportions of the face. So it's pretty well versed with the like basic human anatomy, especially when it comes to like facial expressions and stuff like that. I do think he did this on paper and then he scanned it on a scanner, no shit, and then he colored it on Photoshop. I'm guessing. I think. So a lot of this is more of practice, personal works. But yeah. Not really my thing. Looks good, but it's not my thing. So let's go to Photoshop. Let me just switch screens here. So this is Byeong Hyeok Kim. Fuck. I do have a lot of tabs open, so that's on me. Apologies. Oh, he has a lot of followers, so fuck. One day. I mean, it's so like even you don't need a lot of works on your ArtStation to get a lot of followers. Just have a good few pieces and then I mean, you can always hide them later or delete like unwanted artworks or paintings or sketches. But yeah, apologies for my voice, by the way. I do have a bit of a sore throat. And I do have a lot of mouth sores in the left side of my cheek. So the suffering is real, but yeah. So let's go to Photoshop. Yes. I did go back to Photoshop because I did make a switch from Photoshop to Clip Studio Paint, and then now I'm kind of back to Photoshop because Photoshop has way more effects and stuff, but I'm not letting go of Clip Studio Paint, but yeah. I'm kind of going back and forth between Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint, but right now I'm more of the, I guess the Photoshop guy for now. And I do need to update my brushes and shit because I kind of went heavy on Clip Studio Paint, and there you can transfer brushes from Photoshop to Clip Studio Paint, but it's not always good. Like it doesn't come off well, or it doesn't come off right. So it's not the best thing to have brushes that are for every kind of app, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But anyway, so I do like the feet. I love the way it's rendered though, and again, if you look from afar, it's very graphical. The composition is nice, and I like the way he did the whole white border thing. It feels like she's popping out of the frame, right? And the colors, they're very simple. I think it's based off of the actual character. The blue, green, and the purple. I believe even the character herself is Korean, I believe. Jury. She's so hot, by the way. And I do love the breakdown. I believe he did the sketch first. And the sketch is pretty rough. But I do like it. But the composition, it's pretty much like everything is pretty much done from this stage. Composition wise, the pose, even the facial expression, even the tongue. I believe she's licking her tit. Damn, Jury. Oh, it's so perverted, but I do like it. And the pose is actually kind of complicated. Like her arm is reaching down behind her thigh, and her left leg is kind of like she's kind of showing off her thigh power and her feet. And I like how the feet isn't even that fleshed out in this stage, but in the end, I mean, come on, look at that feet. Look at those toes. It's so nice. I love the padding, but let's go back to the rough sketch. So for the most part, you pretty much figured everything out from the very beginning, right? So that's nice. Very, very rough sketch. Now for the face, I think even for the eye, it's a bit detailed now. But everything is pretty much set at this point. And the sketch, the line work is super rough. And it's kind of, I like seeing stuff like this because you don't have to be that perfect in the very beginning. Because I always feel like we need to, or maybe it's because of Kim Jung-gi, like he's so proficient with his line work from the very beginning. Like he doesn't have do-overs usually when it comes to his drawings and sketches. Or his sketches look more finished than not finished. So it's kind of annoying when you do it your way and it kind of comes off like this where it's kind of too messy, too rough. But it doesn't have to be perfect because eventually you're going to paint over your sketch anyway, so there's that. I'm not sure how he did the hair, but when it comes to the composition, when it comes to the basic pose, he did everything in the beginning. It's still rough, but everything is pretty much set. And then from there, oh shit, I believe this is more of a close-up. I'm not sure where the other one is. Wait, let's go back. Because there is a kind of a half-finished version. I believe it's on his Instagram. Oh, there you go. I think it's this post. Oh yeah, look at how the feet is not even that finished. And I think this is more of a snapshot process shot. But yeah, going back to Photoshop. This is more of a close-up, but yeah, I like this full version more. I like how there's so much lighting happening right now, which is pretty nice, but the colors are kind of kept within the blues and the purples. For example, in the face, you can see a bit of cyan coming off from the side, and it's kind of hitting this bottom part of her face. And you can see some cyan here. Cyan. Shit, we're too zoomed in. Oh, even the tongue has some color in it. Fuck me. There's some red, pink, purple. So it's all within the same kind of complementary color range. Wait, is blue, green, and purple complementary? Not sure, but they do complement each other because there's only two of them, but it looks nice. Reminds me of the Arcane chick. You know, she has blue hair and shit. Yeah, everything is just blue and purple. I do like the blue in this part. Like, there's so much light, it almost feels like a rendering. It looks very gouache-like in nature. Not a lot of texture in the actual painting. You can see a bit in the edge, so I think it helps make it look somewhat more natural. Oh, some texture here, just a bit. He does like to show off some of the original line work or the rough sketch, but it's not a fully rendered piece. He did spend most of the rendering or the fine painting in the face. I do love the facial expression, very, very voluptuous. Is that the word? Very, very hot. I like the hair. It's so hard rendering hair, but he was able to kind of make it wavy a bit with this strand, and she does have like nice puffy horn-like hair. Even the jewelry, I believe this is some kind of jewelry. It's just one kind of dash of line, and it kind of suggests jewelry. The background is kept simple. A bit of line work. The hand is pretty dynamic. And again, he didn't erase every single line from the beginning. And maybe he does use a bit of mixer brush. He did pull some paint here. Could be a smudge brush, but most likely a mixer brush. And again, I do like seeing the different sources of lighting. It makes the skin or the 3D aspect of it more 3D. And it doesn't look as flat. And I really like aside from the feet, the padding looks so cool. Like, you can see a bit of fold here. And of course, this kind of dark purple blue part looks super nice. You can see some reds in the skin as well. She's super white here, by the way. Very, very pale. And I think it looks good because there's very, very high contrast with her black kind of covering pants. She's very exposed, by the way. Reminds me a bit of, there's this character named Lucy from the anime Cyberpunk's Edge Runners. And she has like a similar kind of vibe in terms of her costume. Not costume, but her attire. But I think jewelry is more leg heavy, so they wanted to expose more of her thigh leg supremacy. But yeah, it's I mean, look at this, it's super cool. I do like how the edges were done. It's not that clean. It's not a rendering per se, like Sakimi-chan level rendering. It's more of a gouache painting, I think. But the forms look so cool. The face, the feet, a bit of the hands, although it's not the main focus. I think the reason why he did the feet more is because it's kind of Jury's thing, showing off her nice feet. But the face itself looks nice. The hair wasn't as rendered. He did kind of emphasize this kind of highlight, this purple pink highlight. But I love the lighting on the face, like her eyes kind of in shadow. You can see a bit of that highlight there. Even with the makeup, there's some purple and yeah, some eyeshadow right there. But it looks so mysterious, but cool. I think I'm spending too much time on this piece. This is my favorite piece of his. In terms of the painting style, it's kind of loose, even though it's kind of tight in the face right now because it has to be tight because it's kind of the main focal point, and yes, the feet. But it has that looseness to it, like it feels alive, you know? I mean, there's so many tricks. The whole white frame thing and popping out of that white border frame makes it more poppy. The composition, the shadow of this chick kind of works well. Like the whole positive negative thing here where this is negative and this is the positive side. Like it just fits diagonally throughout the cropped squarish kind of frame. So it looks cool, right? And again, it's all within like a few color hues or a few hues. It's not that vibrant, I would say. It's kind of slightly saturated with the blue, the cyan blues. It does have like a slight glow to them. Maybe he did use color dodge, perhaps. Even in this part right here, there's a bit of slight green, just a bit, but and even like the tongue looks nice too. And yeah, I do think she's kind of licking herself there, like kind of like a cat, like meow. But anyway, cool piece. And all of this started with a simple rough sketch. So if you can get like the pose right from the very beginning, everything else will just kind of make sense. And you can always kind of paint over your mistakes whenever you're painting digitally. So there's that. So this piece is also cool. Same vibe, very, very gouache. No, I do see some round brush use. Using some opacity or just building up the paint via opacity, which is kind of nice. And I do like the eyes. Very, very. It's somewhat realistic, stylized. It's a mix of both, but it does have like a gouache feeling. You can definitely tell by the fabric. Like you'll see a lot of old school gouache paintings kind of look like this. It's very opaque. And I do like seeing the brush strokes. It's not that rendered. Again, not like Sagimi-chan, like soft brush rendering, but it's more opaque, more gouache. And I feel like gouache paintings are way more confident, or they look more confident. Because you can see the human aspect of it, like the slight mistakes, but it still looks like solid. I love the knees. And it does get sketchy as you go further away. I love the legs. The shadow here looks nice. I'm not sure what this gold thing is about. Maybe it's more of a stylized kind of decision. Sorry. Decision. My throat hurts, by the way. Or there's always something kind of hanging in my throat or in the back of my throat. That's too much information, but yeah, I do like it. It's all within like the warm hue or temperature. Maybe the shadows are kind of cool. It does have a bit of blue in them. The contrast looks nice. I'm not sure what this thing behind her back is. He likes to add a lot of like masks. This is not cyberpunk, I think. It's more, what's the word? It's close to cyberpunk, but it's more steampunk. I think it's steampunk kind of vibe, right? But yeah, cool. Oh, this one is pretty cool as well. You can see again the whole lighting thing. It really makes the arm, for example, for the arm, it makes it look more 3D, more massy, or it looks like it belongs in the environment, and it doesn't look flat at all. The blue is coming from the sky, I think. There's some kind of blue in the background here, and you can see that in the elbow and in the left side of the arm. And you can see some highlights here, some orange. I'm not sure if it's from the sun or something, but it looks so nice. It looks very gouache. It looks somewhat traditional, which I do like. But it's not like that rough. Like it still feels loose, even though it's kind of contained and tight. It still feels natural and kind of impressionistic, but not really, because everything is so, like, the silhouette is pretty clear. The shapes are clear. I think it's because of the way it's painted. Like, even the bottom of this kind of pack here. Like, look at how there's not a lot of texture in it, but because of the different hues, the different values, you see some red orange, some blues, some purples, again some orange. Like, it feels surrounded with color, you know? Like, it's not just one. It's not like a cell shading type of approach. It's very painterly, and I do like it. And you'll usually see this, I guess, in more traditional artwork, like gouache paintings usually, but seeing it done digitally, fuck. I can't talk. But it looks so cool. Even the hair. It has some nice highlights there. Maybe some mixer brush use, perhaps. I do like this part right here. It has so many stuff in it. Like the light green, the yellow, the orange, the blue, the purple. I love the shadows in the boobs. There's some really hard cut edged kind of shadow parts, and then there's like a soft edge shadow. I'm still not sure how that's done or how it works, but it looks so natural to me. And I think the trick is to have like a bunch of, like, a mix of like hard plus soft edges, especially when it comes to the rendering aspect of it or the painting aspect of it. Because if it's too hard, it's going to look somewhat mechanical and kind of, well, mechanical. But if it's too soft, it can feel kind of muddy and weak. Even the shape design of this whole thing looks cool. Lots of spikes complemented by the round kind of mask or helmet. Pretty cool. And then it's kind of a mix of both. Lots of squares in the midsection. And of course, behind all of that is her voluptuous figure. So that's nice. The background is kind of kept simple, which I do get because her rendering or her painting, or she's a bit too detailed. Not that detailed, but she's a bit tight. You know, she has like a lot of features. So if you kind of overdid it, or if you overdo it with the background, it can kind of take away from the glory of this main character. And yeah, so that's cool. I love this piece as well. One of my favorites of his. Second to Jury here with the feet and the face and the tongue. And again, the colors are very simple, very, very contained. This one is kind of okay, but it doesn't have as much impact as this, I think. Maybe it's because the background is too dark. Maybe. Now this one is more of like a magical fantasy concept. Not really my thing. I'm not really a fan of the florals here. The Victorian kind of clothing it's not my thing, but I do like the painting style still. Again, it's not a full like Sakimi-chan rendering style, but it's there. The face is almost always detailed. The eyes are way sharper usually in his work, which I do like. The hair is more detailed in this one. It has more strands, I believe. And yeah, you can see a bit of line sketch there. I guess it's just for the hair. In terms of the colors, it's a bit of mostly warm. The character is mostly warm, but the background is mostly cool. So there's that. But the colors are kind of not that intense. They're kept simple. I think it's more about his rendering style that I kind of like. The way the folds are done. Even when it comes to jewelry, the way the folds were done with this kind of pants. I do like the folds. It's not even that clean, but you can kind of like, the folds are suggested. And again, back to this kind of padding for her feet. It looks like this fold right here looks so cool. It looks so natural, and yeah. And this one doesn't have the pose is not as cool. Well, kind of. I mean, but that's kind of cheating because I think this is a chick, right? Or maybe there's more of a halo effect happening right now because the character is kind of pretty. I'm kind of not seeing the flaws of the painting. And that's kind of the nice thing about painting chicks or drawing girls, because you can get away with a lot of mistakes. If she's just pretty in the face, you can kind of get away with a lot of mistakes and miscalculations. Texture wise, not a lot of texture. Everything feels kind of smooth. In the edges though, you'll see that kind of breakage. I'm not sure if that's more of a brush or a mixer brush, or maybe he likes to fade out the edge a bit and not make it too kind of sharp and tight. But yeah, even the shadows where it kind of meets the light and the dark, like the edge point, it's not always like one clear line. There's like a mid value in between. I think it makes it look more natural, kind of like this part right here. It's not just one line, you know. And yeah, the brush it's so smooth. You can see the brush strokes, but the actual brush texture is not that common. It's pretty smooth. And yeah. And again, lots of values even within the fold, so it's not boring. Even if there's a lack of texture, the way the values were kind of done, even in the hat, the highlights and stuff, even the hair, like it's not just yellow. There are different kinds of yellow, different shades of yellow. There's even some green, a bit of slight green, I think. So, and some orange highlights as well. Highlights, kind of, not really, but like the colors from the skin kind of hit the hair as well. You know, excuse me. And I like the shadow part here where you can see some of the highlights in the hair, but everything else is kind of hidden because of the face and the hat. And again, look at this edge right here. It's not just one line. There's kind of like a mid color, a mid value. And I like how sometimes it does glow. I'm not sure if that's a realistic thing, or if I think that does happen in real life where the edge is way more colorful. Kind of like this hair part. Look at how plain the yellow is, and then it hits, or with the moment it touches the shadow, or the moment it gets closer to the shadow, it becomes more vibrant. So I think that does happen in real life a bit. So yeah, check out the work of Byeong Hyeok, especially this piece. It's my favorite. And check out his Instagram, his Twitter, and obviously his ArtStation. And yeah, add to his follower base on ArtStation or Instagram or Twitter. In Twitter, he doesn't post much. There's like 11 tweets. And I don't think it's as updated. I think this is more of his personal sketches. I think he was trying to experiment with this one. But yeah, I'm more focused on his paintings. This chick especially. Street Fighter. Jury, I believe the name is. And yeah, I do recommend if you're a gamer, check out the Street Fighter game. Maybe you're kind of interested, or that could interest you in some way. And check out the actual commercial or advertisement or preview for this character. There were a few characters featured, but I do like Jury because, again, I do have a bias for the feet. But yeah, check out Byeong Hyeok. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. South Korean artist. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I'm back, by the way, so expect more videos from me. And if you're not into the whole video thing, check out my podcast. I'll link it just check out my links in the description below or in my kind of homepage on YouTube, and you'll find my podcast there. It's more about how to get back on track. It's more of like a productivity kind of thing. It's kind of art related, but it's more of like behind the scenes getting into like making progress and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, if you're interested, you can check out my podcast. Or if you like staying here on YouTube, don't unfollow me yet. I'm back from the dead. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.